All right, here we are. We're back Tuesday evening with the Greenwich Good News Game Plan with Joe Kelly.
Hello,
Hey,
Tim.
how we doing?
I am doing great. I'm so excited about tonight. I have my Joe Kelly bobblehead here. They gave that to me for my birthday. So, see, it's a little Joe Kelly shirt on there and a little
Very nice.
kind of looks like me, I think. It looks kind of good.
The
But no,
kids
it's
must love coming in and just poking that in the head, right?
well, they get confused. They do it to me sometimes, and the
Yeah.
head goes back and forth. But we will do with this one. But no, Tim, I'm so happy about tonight because we're going to talk to you.
Yeah.
We're going to find out all sorts of great stuff about you. We have two great guests. We have you, and we're going to just go right into it in a second. We have Dick Tailor as well. Dick Taylor's in the green room, and he'll come on about halfway through. And you're followed by a gentleman named Dick, which is always exciting. We like that. We still tease him about that, but he sticks to that name, and he's going to stick to it for as long as we keep teasing him about it. So it's good. So Tim, good news. What do we have good news today for the good news game plan?
The Good News Game Plan. Well, I don't know. We had a spectacular Easter. We had a good. Did you see my little video from Easter? We do an Easter egg hunt and then an Easter egg smash.
Oh, I didn't see the smash part.
Didn't see the smash part. Yeah, once we collect all the Easter eggs, I do dye one that is raw, and then we go around and we pick out of the bowl, and everybody don't take a look and then smash it on your head. So we had a good one. This is our 4th year doing that, and Harry was the big winner on Sunday.
Oh, nice. Well, I saw the Easter egg. I said I saw you right on the post that one of the eggs was raw,
Yeah.
but then I didn't follow it from there. I kind of got confused. But
Yeah, that was the morning, and then by the afternoon, I edited up the video and put that out there. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's
Good
cool.
stuff.
But let's.
Yeah, that was a good time. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was good. It was good. It was a good weekend. Weather was good. Family stayed a little separate because everybody wanted to make it down the home stretch here to make sure we all get injected. We all get the shots. We're on one. We have scheduled our second, and we're going to take that one in probably 3 weeks. So we're excited about that. Excited about joining the immunity crowd and kicking butt on this pandemic. I think we're ready to go. We're all ready to come out. Weather like today and yesterday was great. Sports everywhere. We went by, watched a little rugby practice go on. We watched the girls' rugby, the boys' rugby, sitting in the parking lot watching that in between, dropping off and picking up my daughter Caitlin from lacrosse. Kelly family's excited because our sophomore lacrosse player has made the varsity team, so we're pumped.
Nice.
We just got the schedule, and the schedule's 22 games. So that is so great. We're going to be all over the state of Connecticut, all over going to the home games and socializing with a bunch of new great parents. We had the coaches meeting just yesterday, and the beautiful weather. It was all good. So it's all working out.
Yeah. Well, same here at my house. We had the girls put in their permission slips there at Western, so they're going to play one's softball and one is going to do track. And Lauren also has been playing the Bank Raiders football. So my fifth, my girl is a football player, and she's going to be a senior football player this year. So she's quite a bruiser on that team.
Tim, I gotta say, and I've been doing this now we've been doing this show now for how long? Like a half a year, right?
Yeah.
Every Tuesday night was Monday night, but Tuesday night, and you had some wonderful, exciting things about your family. And my head's kind of thinking about what the guests coming up are. So I never actually take the time to ask questions about that because you say that, and then when the program's over, I said, "Did Tim just say his daughter plays for the Bank Raiders?" So let's further elaborate because this is your day, Tim. This is the day to find out more about you. You are the special guest. So tell me about, and I know you're a proud daddy. So let's go. You got a bunch of kids. So let's go over all your kids and tell us about how the Judge family interacts with the town of Greenwich.
Well, I'm going to take it way back only because, because I run the show, I'm going to add this. This is my dad and me when I was a senior in high school. And today is his birthday.
Fantastic.
He would have been 89, and we lost him in 2012. But what a guy he was. He had 11 children.
Oh, wow.
So I have 7 brothers and 3 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him when I got married, I only wanted to be half as successful as him. So I had 5 children. So
Nice.
I almost made it there. But yeah, I have and so here I'll start out with my number one, since I'm in control. There's Will. He's now attending Iona like you and I did, but he was on that championship team at Greenwich High School, which
Yep.
was quite an experience for him and for me. Very exciting. And then Harry's at Norwalk Community College, and he's doing really well there. They have a great program there for him, so he's very excited. And then Jillian's in high school now. She just became a certified lifeguard, so she's probably going to be working at the town pool.
Perfect.
Very excited for that. She's super pumped to be walked down to work. And then the two girls are at Western, so that's an 8th grader and a 7th grader, and one's going to be softball. And she also, biggest news today, and she's very, very excited. She got it accepted into the AVID program at the high school level, which is I hear very exclusive. So she's been AVID all through Western, and now she's going to be AVID through the high school, which is I'm very proud of her.
Well,
And then,
congratulations.
Lauren, who's no slouch either, playing for Bank Raiders and going to be on the track team. So she's quite a bunch we have.
Well, that's great. The kids are active. Kids are active in school. They excel in school. They're sports kids. I mean, that's the kids that we really like to produce in the town of Greenwich here. That's what we really like to do. Because as you know, and we talk about it every show, that education's something I'm very involved in. And education, as far as I'm concerned, is only part academics. The other part is the learning how to interact with the other kids, the lessons taught in sports, clubs, activities, involvement, volunteering, all those sort of things. What we like to, or I like to anyway, to make sure that are important in the schools, in addition to academics, of course. But it's really important to do that, to hear that your family, all your kids, and it's 5 of them, right? Is that what you said, 5? So all your 5 kids are both well-rounded. They've got volunteerism, they've got sports, they've got academics. What else? They hold family in the high regard, because I know in speaking to you and knowing your family from a past life. Now, I didn't know there was 11 of you guys. I knew there was a lot of you guys, and you kept running into judges around Iona College, and there was a bunch of them. And everyone, I really thought you guys were like Fred Camillo is, where he says everyone's his cousin. I thought you guys were saying everyone's my brother, and it was like kind of closer than that. But oh well. But they were really your brothers and sisters. It was amazing.
Yeah. We had quite a run at. First brother went to Boston College, so he was out of town. The next 3 went to Fordham University, and then after that, we all went to Iona because it was a nice program, and we could all walk there and walk home from North Avenue, as you know.
Absolutely,
it's a special place for that. But yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, we were pretty tight right there behind the high school in a big giant house. So we're pretty close there at Iona Community.
That's perfect. And that North Avenue, which is right up the street from Iona College, and also, as you're saying now, right up the street from your family home, is how I paid my college tuition. Yeah. I worked 5 or 6 nights a week in one of the bars, and I remember going to the registrar's office and having all these sort of beer-soaked 1s and 5s and stuff that we gather as tips, and I'd pay him once every 2-3 weeks. I give him a stack of the money we got from working in the bar. They thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. But back in the day, you could kind of work your way through school. It was more affordable. Iona was anyway, and we were able to do that. We worked hard, but you know what? The work was enjoyable. So we certainly did enjoy our time working on North Avenue, and that was tons of fun. But now, what you guys you moved to Greenwich. How long ago did you actually come into Greenwich?
Yeah, we moved to Greenwich in 2003. And it was a great time. I started out in the bar business as well. And then I was working at the Rye Grill, and then Elm Street Oyster House was my first taste of Greenwich, which was probably 94. And I just loved the Elm Street Oyster House. I loved the customers. I loved everything about it. And at the same time I was bartending, I got my real estate license. So I was selling real estate. I was bartending at night, selling real estate during the day, and having just a great time. So the more I learned about Greenwich, the more I wanted to be here. So that's how I ended up, coming up this way.
Did any more of your large extended family move up to Greenwich, or are you the others have as well?
Just one, my younger brother Kevin, and his bride already had a place here, so he married up.
Perfect.
But yeah, but everybody else is still pretty local, mostly Westchester. So and one brother in Manhattan. So yeah, good stuff. We're all pretty close around. So
Well,
So
it's good. I mean, you and I met. We were because we had known each other indirectly, but never actually touched base with each other and got talking. We kind of ran into each other at the graduation last year in the drive-through graduation.
that's
Your
right.
son, your son was graduating. You had taken a picture, and all of a sudden, as I arrived home, almost that quick, the postcard was in my mailbox with a picture of me posing with your son on graduation. And
Yeah.
you said this is one of your hobbies or your interests is a technology and relations and a thing like this show. And you said and then we started the campaign we ran a couple of years ago. Last year,
Yeah.
and you had said you had some experience in that field. So we put a team together and we developed this show based on the fact we couldn't really get in front of a lot of people during COVID. We tried our best, but we didn't want to insult people or intrude on people with the disease going on as it was. So we used this as a vehicle to get in front of people. It turned out to be tons of fun. We start out with a little banter back and forth, but I do say I feel it's way overdue having this conversation with you. Now, Tim, tell us some things that are important to you, and we haven't had these conversations. That's why I like having them on a situation like this. Some of the things in town that are important to you. I know family's important, sports, school involvement. What other things do you find important?
Well, there's plenty, but I really love getting involved with a lot of stuff. I was doing scouting, as we talked with Jim Heavey. That's where first time I met him. I was doing scouting with my boys. I did do a little coaching at the Boys and Girls Club, which we have to shout out to the fact that this is the last fundraiser at the Cas Cobber. They're doing that for them. So I was involved there as well. So those are great things. Anything you could do for kids, you want to get involved with, and that's always a great thing. And a lot of people in town do that stuff, which makes it great. But I have, here's another side tip, was that our friend Mike Fina, who's been on this show, I actually worked for him today. So from time to time I do subbing, and Mike Fina is a gym teacher at North Miami School.
Right.
So he called me up and he says, I'm having a baby today. I need you to cover my gym class. And I said, for you, I'll go do it. So I was a substitute teacher for Jim at North Miami's school today.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
It was a good time. So congratulations to Mike Fina. He's been on the program. So, you cover people, you bond with your friends and all that kind of stuff. It's been great. And Byram's been very, very good to us. So I'm super lucky to have moved here.
That's right. Well, Mike Fina is the head rugby coach at the high school now.
Yeah.
And he's about to enter his first season. He's very excited. Now he's got the two little children at home, and that's so great. It all sort of ties together. And like I always bring up on the reason for the show is to have people talk about the community, because the communities, it just keeps on and on and on and going connected and support people. You talk about people volunteering to help the kids out. I was just playing a little paddle last night at the Millbrook Club, and somebody said, listen, I just found myself with a lot of spare time. Joe, you're like the king of volunteerism. Could you please help me and direct me to volunteer my time to the town of Greenwich and the community? I said, sure, I'll certainly work on something else. I'll work on that, and that'll be great. And I think if you remember, another volunteer thing I'll announce now is that we talked to Chief Heavey last week about his involvement with the Red Cross. Now, I've had a couple of discussions, I guess you could call them interviews, with the Red Cross for a position on the board of directors. So I might be lucky enough to be offered the opportunity to serve on the board of directors of the Red Cross. In doing so, I hope to go on be sent on earthquakes and tidal waves and things like that, and just get called to duty all over the world. I'm so looking forward to that. I have the fire training, and I'm going to take some Red Cross training. And instead of just doing the rescue side of things, which was thrilling, and I did that for years, now I can go and actually help in situations that are, after training, of course, it would be great. So I'm really looking forward to that as another bunch of volunteerism for us in town. So I'm very excited about that. That is great. Fantastic. So
my Red Cross extent stops at giving blood, which I've done a couple times since this show started. But yeah, I definitely support the Red Cross.
Wait, since the show started tonight, you've given blood a couple of times?
Tonight.
Okay, I was going to say that would be really weird, but okay. So since we started 6 months ago, I get it. Okay, I understand. I follow. So now we're going to do, Tim, now we got to know you. We interviewed you. We have you as one of our Greenwich citizens that are now being interviewed. Now we're going to bring Dick Tailor, one of my favorite Greenwich people, in. And Dick's going to ask you a question or two, Tim. Hey, Dick, do you have a couple of questions to ask Tim? You just listened to him go on about himself. What do you think? We usually bring the second guest comes in and ask the first guest a couple of questions. You have any questions to ask of Tim?
Well, I guess just one. My youngest son just got his master's in teaching and was an assistant teacher at Western Meadow last year, and he was a basketball coach. His name is Dan Tailor, and he was very active for 10 years working the Boys and Girls Club, and he's a good friend of Mike Venus as well, so it's a little bit of commonality there.
I know Dan, and he's now at New Lab, right?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I know Dan well, and Dan knows me, so I'll be sure to say hello. I was looking for
world.
Isn't that great how it all ties in? That's just so much. And that's the really good thing about the show. And we, as you know, Tim, we talk about this all the time. It's more fun that we get the guests the last minute instead of prepping. And I just kind of call around on sometimes late Monday and sometimes early Tuesday. And I just happened to see Dick came across on an email because myself and Dick have been playing poker, illegal high stakes poker here in Greenwich with the same group. Dick, how many years have we playing?
Well, I figured I've lost about $2.5 million to you.
But we've been together probably, 15, 16, 17 years?
Probably, yeah.
So 17 years, myself, Dick, and a handful of other guys. And some guys have rotated in, some guys have rotated out over the years. But we've gotten together every once a month on a Thursday night. And it's kind of fun the way we do it. I just have to explain this because it's kind of a blast. Each one hosts, and the host is in charge of supplying the adult beverages, preparing a meal, and obviously having the cards and the chips and making sure everything's there. And at about 11:30, we insist upon having a dessert served to us. And it's just a really fun thing. We play till about 1:30 in the morning or so, and then everybody goes their way. But it's always each one who hosts gets to do the spread and try to kind of sometimes outdo the other. But I do say Dick is an incredible cook, and usually outdoes everybody.
Well, the one thing for sure is we all get together and we act like sophomores in high school.
It's so true. You know what? And everyone's so different who's in the group, and everyone has their guard up in the real community, and they kind of don't really know each other outside the card game because I've had people that I've known for years who then come into the card game, and you learn a whole different side of them. It's so much fun, and you get to know each other. And as Dick said, you do act like a bunch of kids. And Dick, I really enjoyed all the years we keep playing, and we've got to go to online playing. And Dick plays online poker probably 6 or 7 days a week for about 9 hours a night. So he's pretty good at it. And I'm kind of stumbling through it, but we're trying to do that now.
I think you exaggerate a bit.
A bit of an exaggeration. Dick, tell us a little about yourself. Tell us about how long you've been living in Greenwich for.
Well, I moved here in 1992 after growing up in Indiana. And then I had the corporate moves all over the country from Florida to Colorado to Seattle to Cleveland to St. Louis, and then came here in 1992 to work with one of the capital people in the real estate business. Spent 10 years there, and then spent 5 years at Blackstone and 5 years at Brookfield Asset Management. And then a couple of years ago, I decided the corporate world was no longer for me, so I formed a joint venture with a couple of guys, and we're buying little stuff and managing and flipping, trying to make some money doing that. So I'm still active. Don't work a 40-hour week anymore, but I'm having fun doing it.
But you do it on the commercial side, right? Don't you generally are mostly deal in strip malls and things. Tell us specifically about what you did, because I find it quite interesting.
Well, I started off as a specialist on the operating side, all those corporate moves, working up the ladder to become the chief property management officer of several companies with a nationwide portfolio. And in most of my early years, we were really focused on the big malls. And at the time, what, 1,300 malls in the country or whatever. At one point in time or another, I probably had 130 or 150 of those malls that I was responsible for in some fashion. So I did that. And then, but in the last 5 years, and thank goodness, because the mall business ain't so good anymore. In the last 5 years, I really focused more on the strip center business and grocery anchored stuff, Target anchored things, that type of thing.
Great. I mean, I love every month when we get together, you have your stories about what properties you're looking at, what kind of things are happening or interesting now, what they go for a square foot, what's being rented and all that sort of stuff. It's a little outside what I do. So it's really interesting to hear what other people do. And you blend into the community in the way that you do. You raise your family in town. And I love the story of your kids. Now, you're a grandfather now. How many grandchildren do you have?
Well, I've got 7 grandkids, all under 7 years old, so I'm not that old of a guy. But I've got 4 kids, and my oldest is Sam Tailor, and Sam is a physician with hospital special surgery, and he's an orthopedic surgeon, specializes in the knees and the shoulders. And actually saw Joe when Joe was about ready to go into surgery about 5 or 6 years ago.
That's right.
Then he does most of his work in the city. He's out in Stanford, the new Stanford office, a couple of days a week, perhaps. And he also is one of the assistant team doctors for the New York Giants, which has been a real thrill for him doing that. He was I guess my entire family was very much athletic oriented, and Sam and Matt and Dan all played football at the high school. They also played baseball. Dan was a wrestler, and one of the most thrilling moments of my life was to see Dan win the state championship as a wrestler. Yeah, but and Matt was a quarterback when they won the state championship back in, I think, 99 or 2000. And then they both went on to play college football. So that was exciting.
The stories of the kids are really very exciting at your end. Now, one of your sons, he works in a very unique field. Can you talk about that, or is that you have to tell everyone once you talk about that?
I think you have to do it offline.
All right. So can we give him a little hint on what he does?
I will just say that he's had a half a dozen overseas stints, 4 months to a year. So,
right. All right.
Way deeper than that.
So we'll leave it at that. And the secret stories that we've sworn to secrecy on that you tell us after a couple of adult beverages, we'll make sure those never get told in a public place. But that's good. Now, Dick, tell us some of the things you found most exciting about living in Greenwich. Now, since 1992, you lived there. You raised a great family. Your kids are settling in Greenwich. I know your son bought your house from you, and he's now settling there and raising his family. Are the other kids also living in Greenwich?
Well, I have a daughter that's 31, been married now for 3 years, and she just finished up her MBA at NYU, and she and her husband currently live over in Hoboken, but they've been looking very hard to try to get somewhere into Fairfield County, preferably Greenwich, but it's a crazy market right now. But let's hope she finds something, and hope she wants to get started with a family. And then my son that works for the government lives down in Baltimore. Would love to move up here, but I don't see that in the card in the near future. And Sam actually bought the house from me that everybody grew up in, and he's in the process of redoing that. And Joe's been there. He's got a great view of the Mianus Harbor, so that's really exciting.
Oh, that's good. That's tons of fun. And now you moved out of that house. You moved a little up the line. You're in Stanford now, right? But it's still close enough to Greenwich.
Yeah, it was time to kind of downsize a little bit. We didn't have anybody at home, just us, and so we moved into the Chapin area of Stanford about a year ago, and it's been enjoyable. We joined the Stanford Yacht Club, thinking, oh, it's time to make a bunch of new friends. And then week after we joined, they closed it down for COVID. So we're still trying to get that started. But it's interesting.
Well, you're an avid fisherman. You've gone out on the water lots of times. You've got a boat for a lot of years, and the activity you have with a lot of the guys, certainly the banter at the games, is kind of fun. I do say though, back to the game for a second, because time-lapse photography is always interesting to watch when you see a construction project, say it lasts 2 years, and you see it built over that 2 years, and they take a picture and just that's kind of like the way our card game was like for the last 18 years. We get together once a month, we kind of catch up, because it seemed kind of weird that we didn't communicate all that much away from the game. Occasionally we had some crossover stuff, but mainly we kept all the stuff in for the game. And then when it came down to the game time, everyone would just catch up. We'd be busting on each other, talking about what happened, our adventures along the way. Everyone had an interesting little thing going on. So I do appreciate that time we were doing that, and that's always fun.
Yeah, and everybody has their own style or whatever. I'm kind of the quipster of the group. When things get a little quiet, I got to make a silly joke and
No, absolutely, that's true. And you are, I might say, you are quite a good card player. Now, we don't play a very complicated game; we play a simple game. But I always enjoy the mental challenge of playing against you because you think pretty deeply into the game. So I certainly enjoy that challenge.
Well, see, the problem is when I started, it was at the peak of my brain power. Now I've gotten a little bit older, so I got the slippage going on. So I'm leaving room for you to make some money now.
Well, thanks, Dick. I certainly do appreciate that. It's so nice of you. But why did we do the show? Why it's interesting of the show is you lived here for 30 years. And you've interacted with a lot of people, and some of the people we usually have about 1,500 people or so watch this program, all Greenwich people. And as we talked about with Tim and your son knowing each other from the teaching field, and some people might watch this and say, well, that's where Dick is. I remember being on the sidelines for a lot of games when your kids were in school playing, and I don't know if you keep in touch with some folks. I know myself, over the years and years of the sports, you get pretty close to people. And one of the people we got close to was our governor. Ned Lamont was a father on the sideline of my daughter's team for a number of years. He had his daughter playing with my daughter in soccer for many, many years as kids. So he was one of the sideline dads. We had, as far as politicians go, Richard Blumenthal. I coached his daughter for a lot of years in soccer, so we knew the Blumenthal family, and they were great sideline parents as well. You must have experienced the same thing with a lot of the Greenwich Fun folks.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And first, I want to get a shout out to my wife, Diane, who was a teacher in the Greenwich school system for 25 years, maybe, and taught special ed at North Miami. So for many years, and give her another shout out. She was Teacher of the Year a few years ago. So say something.
Fantastic! That's great. I didn't even know that. You don't talk. How come you never talk about her at the games?
Well, we sometimes we go through our games and we don't know the names of our kids.
Exactly.
But anyway, so I have a little bit of an unusual life. So for the 35 years or so of my career, I was traveling, living in a hotel 2-3 nights a week because my business was, for 25 years all over the country and 10 years all over the world. And so I didn't get to meet as many Greenwich people as, through my own social activity because I was always gone. But I did get to meet a lot of wonderful people through my kids' sports, and like you said, sitting on a sideline, this kid's playing with this kid's mom and dad, and then we see them and have dinner with them and so on. So it's been very enjoyable, and I think growing up in Greenwich has been a wonderful experience for us. And then from both the sports that we talked about, but the education, that high school is really something special, in terms of the breadth and depth of curriculum that they offer.
Well, we have the curriculum book, which we just voted on and okayed recently. It's as thick as a college guidebook. It's got so many classes. It's so diverse, so many different things you could experience in the school. I never want to say I don't support the private schools because the private schools are wonderful. They have so many great features. But I like the mix of the people in Greenwich High School. It's almost college size, a small college with 3,000 students, but it offers so much. There's so many different sports, so many activities, so many different folks to meet. And I know that you certainly enjoyed that with your kids, and I enjoy it. Did enjoy it with the first 3 kids that are out of college already, and then my present sophomore who we get to do it all again. So it's fun.
Yeah,
so it's great.
Second generation here. That's nice.
That's what it is. We didn't have the patience to wait for the grandchildren like you have the grandchildren, so you can start enjoying that. But Dick, I do have to say, because Tim likes us to keep the show to about a half hour, and Tim's back now. Tim, you have a parting question of Dick, or you want to say something before we call it a night on the show here?
No, I'm just going to say that Dick and I were having a little pre-show chat, and tomorrow I'm running the New York State Commercial Real Estate Conference because I do this video marketing stuff. So I'm gonna have to keep my eye out for the strip malls and everything that come up for them, and I'm gonna connect with them if I find something good.
Oh, perfect.
And, we're a value add operator, so we need to find a good deal.
Yeah, of course. They're going to be flying all over tomorrow, I'm sure.
Only quality stuff from Tim Judd. Only quality stuff from him. So, gentlemen, it was a very great evening. Thank you very much for joining us. These little gems in Greenwich are so exciting. They exist out there. Many of our folks just kind of live in our community, and once you get talking to them and hearing stuff about them, it just makes for a really great place. So, once again, after these conversations, makes me even more happy that I live in this great community.
All right, good. Take care of you. Take care.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody. See ya.
Bye-bye.